Morning, Commanders. How are we doing today? I hope you're all doing very well. I want to put out a video today. I've waited long enough, I guess now. I've mentioned this in my videos. I was kind of waiting to see if they would add anything to the event store, but I guess we'll talk about that in a second here from what I've heard. So yeah, if you're new or haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up and the bell notification. It really helps grow the channel and it will help you keep aware of when I release new content. So try to find content that's helpful and helps the players out in one way or another, whatever that is. So also a reminder, I put my link in the Discord, to my Discord in the description below. You may have to hit the like or see more button, whatever it is. But it is there in every video. So feel free to join that for questions, sharing of information, whatever it is. It's interesting and fun to see it grow as we get more people. There's more people talking and sharing crew tests like we did this month on the Silent Hostel. So that's been kind of fun, kind of interesting. So I'm really happy to see that grow. So let's hop into the event store. I want to talk about that. Couple things that I have heard in Discord or other videos. It sounds like they're going to have, because I don't think, I get this feeling that, you know, with some of the events or way that things have happened over time, that Scopely does not like you to save your event currency till the end. They probably want you to spend, and I think they probably come out with these events. Let's hop in the event store. Oh, they don't have it. They had one here with Archer, or sorry, with Tucker. Although that was a spend, I think you had to buy some packs for that. But they'll occasionally have, what are these, like, where is it? This career advancement. And I don't know, I've never really, unless I've never really competed in these well enough to earn anything. And even if I get the bottom slot, I get one, you know, the bottom kind of bracket or the second one. I mean, it's just not that much for me. Unless you're a big spender, it seems like that's not the thing to win much. And as we all know, Scopely's stingy with any kind of events as far as their officer shards go, so that's really, it's a real big downer. So I'm just not competing in that. But let's look at the event store and let's talk it through. I did release a video that I think is kind of standard of how I've approached things and I think can help your gameplay is those specialty ships where we talk about the Meridian when you're mining Isogen, or Stella having multiple of those. It can really kind of help you with those different loops if you have multiple ships that are doing that loop. So I'll kind of mention those as I go through here. Those probably are usually not my recommendation as like the first thing you get, but it's definitely something to consider to find some more sanity, since, apparently Scopely's not going to let us have sanity by making loops easier. I was thinking just yesterday that, what is it, when I'm farming the Gem Hadar for their loot, can't remember what that's called off the top of my head. I had to go out and farm some of it. What's it called? The purple, what are they called? There we go, antimatter units. Too many currencies, I can't remember the name of everything. So I went and farmed some of those. Just to have a stock, because I'm going through like 150k a day, so I like to stock up and then not have to worry about it for a while. So anyways, if they had something that saved us a significant amount of time so we didn't have to do the loops anymore, they do have that with the X-Board credits, but it doesn't get rid of loops, it just kind of eases the pain. So that is frustrating. So anyways, let's hop into these and talk about them. And I'm also going to talk about some things that are frustrating to me with the event store. It seems like, and this is kind of prompted by someone who had made a comment in one of my videos, how after Ops 50, the event store pretty much was, I don't know, not valuable at all. And I agree with them. I mean, it seems like there's very little in the event store, and what there is, it's so little value that it's like, what do you do? And then with them constantly releasing epic officers, we all know that epic officers are crazy expensive. So if you want to unlock an epic officer or whatnot, you're going to use a large chunk of your event currency. So it just feels meh. It just feels horrible. And that's not a good thing, because in my opinion, it seems like the event store should be like the celebration part of an event arc, right? That you've had multiple months, you've been engaging in the content, and this should be Scopely's way of saying, yay, congratulations, and here's a little bonus for you. But it doesn't feel like a bonus. It feels really like, come on, guys, why can't you put more in the event store? And I don't buy it when Scopely says, well, we only can put so much in an event store. Well, you have so much crap in there. Why don't you actually evaluate what we actually want and put something invaluable? Well, we know why, because they want you to buy it. They want you to pay for it. So anyways, frustrations there. I would get most of these ships. You can grind them out, or you can save faction credits for them. As far as event store, I would mainly focus on specialty ships. Monavine, I've talked about this before. Fantastic ship, especially for those going in the 50 plus range. And it does take time to level this ship. And so I would highly, highly, highly recommend getting one if you don't have the option right now. Getting a second one is up to you. As far as multiple ships goes, I'm thinking about getting one, but that's just me to try and limit my grind a little bit. And that second one probably won't be tiered very high, or ever. If it is, it certainly won't be right away. So that is an option, but it has a refinery that pays a little bit in materials, but the biggest thing is the resources. So fantastic way to get resources. Mine is like tier 9, I think. Have to go check. 9 or 11, somewhere around there. And I can get, if I max pull my steel, I can get like 1.1 trillion a day. And my titanium max pull is like 183 billion, I think. So pretty fantastic to help you with the resources that you need for your ships and your buildings and so forth. Mantis, I always mention this. If you don't have a Mantis, absolutely get one. I wouldn't get more than one personally, but it's going to unlock the Syndicate loop where you can get massive amounts of Syndicate XP, I guess. Get the Syndicate points to advance your Syndicate reputation, and the higher you get, there's some really, really helpful buffs. So I would definitely recommend getting one of those. Defiant is super helpful in your Jem'Hadar progression. If you don't have one, I would get one. And some of these are going to have additional sourcing. The Mantis is very limited sourcing. Defiant, Voyager, I'd get both of those. Now you can, if you have other ways to get in your patient enough, you can get it elsewhere. I believe you can get one Voyager. It's been a long time for me, so I apologize, but I think you get one Voyager and one Defiant blueprint through some of the faction stores regularly. Correct me if my memory's wrong on that. But if you have additional sourcing for it, you'll have to make a judgment call if you want to wait for that or not. Titan, very good support ship. I think to have an extra support ship is fantastic. I do run a Cerritos and a Titan buffs just to limit my repair, the amount of souls I can do between repairs. So it is helpful and does have limited sourcing, so that is something to consider. And Vidar, if you're at that level, having multiple Vidars can help you. When I was at the point where before the Talos came out, I was using 2 Vidars to limit my grind time. So that is very, very good, something to consider. Meridian is always something, and I think the Meridian's pretty cheap. And remember, when you're looking here, it's not 7,500 per, you actually get 5 for 7,500. So pretty affordable to get multiple Meridians. I'm thinking about getting another one if I don't see anything else of value in the store for me. Stella's fantastic. I'd have 2 at least, maybe 3. That's up to you. But that's great. And then there's the Cerritos, but there is a weekly event, I know, for the Cerritos. Botany Bay, that's up to you, where you're at with your loop on that. I know some of my alliance has, I think, 3 of them. So just to help kind of farm that data so much quicker. So that's up to you. If you're a big farmer for not farmer, raider, then amalgam, having 2 amalgams can be helpful. It can also help you do that grind a little bit quicker, although the amalgam is pretty fast on its own. So That's as far as things I would look at the ship blueprints. Officers, once again, if you don't have them unlocked, I think these are Archer and Tucker are fantastic officers to get. Shran and T'Pol, I'm not too big on. They have like their mining abilities. I'm just not too keen on those. So if it were me and I didn't have them unlocked, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably just be patient and wait. But typically rare officers are cheaper, so going for rare officers may be something that you want to consider. Archer and Tucker, if you are close, I would say go ahead and go for it. I'm kind of close on getting Tucker to tier 2, but I'm going to have to look and see how much infinite store currency I end up having at the end and determine if it's worth it or not. Having him max is definitely something I would like to have for the hostiles that we're hitting lately, but once again, it just kind of depends on sourcing. So that, once again, is something that Scopely really needs to work on in this game. Officer sourcing is deplorable. I have a couple 100,000 of the elite tokens, those purple recruit tokens, and I just feel like I'm just wasting it with how many officers they keep adding and adding and adding to that. So diluted, it's not really worth it to me. So I'm just kind of holding off unless there's an event to spend them on. One thing I will mention that has been mentioned, but not everyone's on Discord, so I want to make sure I get this out there, that we've been told they're going to be adding the Voyager crew and the Enterprise E crew, whatever that means, to limited time events. So they're coming out, but we'll have to see. And once again, I think having like Riker just unlocked for his impulse speed is fantastic. Having Picard, Enterprise E Picard unlocked just for his loot bonus is fantastic. Great additions to the game. But they're going to be expensive because they're epic. So you may want to pay attention to I'm hoping they have some Voyager shards for some of the rare officers, like Neelix, for example. B'Elanna Torres is going to be fantastic if they have her as a below deck for the hull breach, stuff like that. So rares are usually pretty affordable. Let's look at Shran real quick. Yeah, 2,000 for a single shard compared to, what was it, 7,500 for 6,000. So a third of the cost. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at. I did want to also mention that if you didn't unlock the Borg cube last time, supposedly you're supposed to have it in the ships. If you don't, and that applies to you, then just submit a ticket, and they should be able to fix that for you. Ship parts, this is interesting. I don't have a second Talios. For those who do, this may be the only place you can get these transwarp coils, so keep that in mind. Why in the world someone would get a second one? Well, I'm close to maxing a first one, and having a second one could help speed up the grind or help to farm speed ups that much quicker. So something to consider. I wouldn't worry about this other stuff. Although if you have a second or third Fuchsia, event stores are the only places you can get some of these kind of warp interlocks to level past a certain point. And so you want to make sure you grab those if that applies to you. These memory alloys come pretty easy, I think, so I wouldn't bother about that. I wouldn't worry about the Defiant parts, although I spent last time, regretted it, but it'll help you max the last couple of tiers take quite a bit. Monavine parts, if you are over 50 and you're really trying to get this thing leveled, you might want to consider this, although the conversion rate is pretty expensive. So I've done that before, but kind of up to you on that, if you want to do that or not. And I think that was probably it as far as I would recommend in there. Refits. So I'm not too big on the refits here. Some of it you can get somewhere else. Some of it's cosmetic. The thing with refits, things like that, once you unlock them, then you get the bonus whether you have them applied or not. Same thing with projectiles. If you ever have a chance to get those, I would always get those because they may offer a small benefit, but as long as you have it unlocked, you have it. So that's something to consider. Cloaking, for me, I kind of feel like that's a waste. I mean, you get a slight buff and damage maybe if you're in our Armada, but for my play, and I would assume most people's play, I would assume that the cloaking is just a waste. So that's just me. I don't see that adds too much to your game. Special currencies, there's only a couple in here that I would maybe recommend to you for stuff that doesn't have great sourcing. And that would be possibly the Syndicate XP and the Proto Catalyst. I know that the Syndicate is expensive, but there's so much value in the Syndicate that if you don't have anything else to spend it on, this is something to consider. Okay, so not the first thing, but something to consider. This Proto Catalyst is so hard to get. So if you don't have anything else to spend it on, I mean, it's not going to make a huge difference. It's going to allow you to tier some of your forbidden tech up, but it's not going to change the game for you necessarily. If you're patient, you can still get it, but once again, it's very hard to get, and so that's something we consider an event store that you can't get anywhere else, or it's difficult to source. Resources and materials, this is one of those things that, man, I just hate. Scope is so stingy with their materials. It really bottlenecks you. I looked at it and I looked at, just out of curiosity, how much I could get for like 300,000 loot. And it was like, if I did my math right, it was like 1,000 rare G5 ore. It was pathetic. So never, ever, 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 ever spend on this stuff. It's such a waste. And this is one of those things where they need to totally revamp this. Because it's just a waste, or pull it out. It's stupid. For me, cosmetics are nice to get, but I never spend my currency on that. Such a waste. Waste of spots in the event store. Get rid of these so you can actually add some good stuff to the event store. If you ask me, my honest opinion is that this whole we can only put so much stuff in the event store is just an excuse from Scopely to not put anything of value in there. I mean, there's things like the, the Ferengi Whip, or the, the Fuchsia Glass Skin. I think it gives you an extra refinery for your Fuchsia. Or, what are they called? The Quantum Communicators, I think it is. Or, once again, too many currencies, too many things. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Quantum Communicators. This building will never, feels like, get to level 50 or 45. I can't do any more research. I'm stuck there. Or after you get past Ops 50, there is a G5 turn-in that helps you with your rare cores. But why not add some rare cores to those who are, below 50 but struggling to get their Armada Control Center up? It's just really sad that there's so many of these great things that they could add to the or what about Latinum at a good conversion rate, or speed ups? I mean, I would probably spend some on that if it had a really good conversion rate, because honestly, past 50, I can't really compete in like spend events with doing research, because it just takes so much. Last spend event, I just went a little crazy. I thought I need to do some research, might as well take advantage. And I spent like 3 million Latinum. And I didn't even max the event. So what that tells me is I need like 4 million Latinum every spend event in order to, if I wanted to max one of the, spend events. So even if I have the resources and the materials, it doesn't matter, because I can't get through the requirements that they have. So that's another thing they need to add to the game, but it would be fantastic if they gave that as an option, like I said, at a good conversion rate, to really stock up on those for the coming months. So just my thoughts. I know there's other things the community's talked about, but that's the thing I hate about event stores, is that they are so stingy and they give all these excuses, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of things they could add to the event store. I'd love to hear your feedback. Are there things that you wish they'd add to the event store that aren't in there currently? Maybe things you've waited many months for, or many, a couple of years for them to add, and they're still not adding it to the event store. Do you find value? It'd be interesting to hear what operations level you are, and if you find value in the event store, or if it's just kind of a complete waste of time to you. For me, like I said, it should be a celebration. And oftentimes we have these event stores during months where they cater to the whales, which is fine. You know, the big spenders, you know, they have to have their time too. But the event store seems to be like that bonus or that kind of thing to the free-to-play players of, here you go, here's something nice to make you feel kind of welcome and doesn't turn you completely away. And it's tough because this month has really sucked for a lot of players. And we've had 3 months this year alone, 3 out of 3, so we're on track for 12 of 12 if they keep up the same pattern, but 3 of 3 months where we've had new loops every single month. And this month has been deplorable, and a lot of people that I've talked to who are in the same position as me, they're like, I'm low into my bracket, I can't even hit these hostels, but maybe kill a couple of them, and they're not doing it, so they're not engaging with the content, and that's what Scopely wants. And so if you don't have good content for everyone, and that includes good event stores, well, people are going to turn away. People are going to leave the game. And that's not, I think, hopefully, what Scopely wants. So anyways, I appreciate all of you. Want to give my thoughts out there and kind of my concerns with event stores. Hopefully this gets out there. Hopefully if someone at Scopely sees it, please make some changes. You know, we as the players need something more than what you are currently offering us in an event store. The celebration really falls flat. So anyways, thanks so much to all of you and your support, and I'll see you next time.